Hey everybody, welcome back. Review a Day, episode number 187. I'm Leland, and thank you guys for joining me. Do me a favor, head over to dampercast.com and check out episode number 37 of Dampercast. We did a Thanksgiving special. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, by the way. So check it out, and I thank you in advance. Guys, it's about time. Twilight Saga, New Moon, the second film of the Twilight films, is finally here. Who would have guessed that this movie would have made $140 million opening weekend? Absolutely insane. This movie is a phenomenon. The movie is directed by Chris Weitz, screenplay by Melissa Rosenberg, based on the Stephenie Meyer novels that everyone seems to love so much. The movie stars Kristen Stewart, Robert Pattinson, Taylor Lautner, our sexy little trio love triangle of vampires and werewolves. Kristen Stewart plays Bella Swan, this outsider who's dating a vampire named Edward Cullen, played by Robert Pattinson with his gaze that he has. They're together for one reason or another. They can't be together. He splits town. She's depressed, and she falls into the arms of the cute Native American boy with abs, Jacob, one of her old friends, played by Taylor Lautner. Let me say, before I even get into my review and what I think about this movie, let me address the Twilight fans, who will undoubtedly call me an asshole for not liking this movie. Here's a couple things I don't want to hear. That's how it was in the book. Oh, that's how it is in the book. And when people have negative things to say about movies based on books, that's quite often a critique. Watchmen fans are especially also guilty of these different ones. That's how it is in the book. You need to read the book to understand. I don't want to hear that. I'm talking about the Twilight movie here. I'm not talking about the book. I'm not an insider. I haven't read those books. So this review is coming from someone who's not already a fan. But I am, however, a fan of this type of story. True Blood, I think, is a pretty good show. I adore Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This kind of shit, this WB tortured romance vampire mythology stuff, I'm all for it. Bring it on. But the problem I've had with Twilight, the first one, and the problem I have with the second one, is I don't buy a single second of it. I really don't. I think the only difference between Twilight and, say, Days of Our Lives or As the World Turns, is that one still on the air? I don't know. But the difference between Twilight and, say, soap operas is budget. I really think the only difference is budget. I think that's the only thing. And what I don't buy is I've never understood the relationship between Edward and Bella. All these two people really seem to do is to gaze at each other, and I can't tell if they're about to ejaculate or cry half the time. They're just like so tightly wound, and they're always panting and breathing heavily, and I don't understand their relationship. I never see them have any fun together. And well, he splits town, and then all of a sudden Jacob falls in love with Bella Swan. And I think one of the problems that I have with it, and the reason I don't buy Edward and Bella or Jacob and Bella, is that Bella Swan really is one of the most uninteresting, unappealing, mopey pieces of shit I've ever seen on film. This girl, her boyfriend leaves her, so she stops liking music. She doesn't like to go shopping. She doesn't like romantic comedies. She doesn't like anything. And the fact that these guys are falling over each other and competing for this girl is ridiculous. I think I will say, I will give a little bit of prop, a little bit of rope to Robert Pattinson. He does the broody, panty thing so much better than Taylor Lautner, who really is completely out of his element in this film. He has no business being there aside from his toned abs. And that's what this movie is. It's for women, and I feel kind of stupid harping on it because this movie isn't for me, and the people who want to see this movie will love it. And that is great. But even people who like this movie, you have to admit that this movie, it isn't great. It's nothing great. It really wants to be a Wuthering Heights or a Romeo and Juliet, these really tortured romances, but it feels so hacky and hammy, and I think the performances really leave a lot to be desired. Everyone is just so serious in this movie, and that is one thing that has definitely really bothered me about it. And I'm also really, really shocked that a woman penned this screenplay, that it's kind of this story is written from women's perspective, and I think it's really, really bad, and I think it has about the emotional insight that a Facebook About Me blurb has, like, oh, I love Twilight, I love walks on the beach and all that kind of stuff. It's about as honest as that, and it feels so exploitive that it's really just dudes taking their shirts off, and I'm fine with that. but I'm not $140 million opening weekend fine with that. It is a pretty hammy movie. It's a lot of slow motion. There's some really bad fight sequences throughout it where they do this rip-off of 300 where it's really fast and then it's slow motion and it looks terrible. It's lots of slow motion sequences of no dialogue, sad bastard indie emo music. The movie's overly sincere. I don't get it. I've never felt so disconnected from the youth of America. I give Twilight Saga New Moon a 2 out of 5. If you guys like this review, you probably didn't if you're a Twilight fan. Head over to nitpickit.com and check out the podcast I do with my buddy Aaron. We cannot wait to talk about this movie together. Thanks you guys a lot, and I'll see you guys next time.